Hey, everybody. I want to introduce to you Jessica. She searched for a backpack once. Days later, she saw price changes, bundles, and endless email, all from brands she had never interacted with directly. What didn't she know? Her search was not a search. It was a signal. What happened to Jessica is not unusual. It is the design of modern commerce today. Because you think you're in control. No. In the moment you load a website, you scroll a product page, or you even hesitate on a button, the machine behind the machine is already working. Welcome to the new era of e-commerce where your behavior is the product. I am Wayne Altman. This is Straight Talk Commerce Podcast. We begin in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
No fluff, no hype, just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Here to break it down with the sharpest minds. Money, moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring. From Jelly Belly to AA Kings. From the startup grind to the top tier pros. We crack the code, now here we go. Straight talk, commerce, getting to know with Wayne Altman. Let's start the show.
All right, everybody. Thank you very much for coming back. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends about this podcast. This one in particular, you will really be doing your friends and family a favor if you recommend this podcast to them. It is definitely something we need to be thinking about. I want to talk to you guys about the way we are doing e-commerce now. I call it the data harvesting machine. Because every website now runs between 3 and 20 trackers, whether it's a Facebook pixel, it's Google Analytics, it's Hotjar, the list goes on and on and on. Every session is recorded. Every time you go to a product page, every time you go online at all on the internet, it is being recorded. And they're using tech like Full Story, Crazy Egg. They capture full videos of you using the websites that you go to. Every mouse movement is logged to determine your purchase intent. What triggers you to actually pull the trigger? How do they do this? Well, the first way is by first-party cookies. The site owner is the one tracking you. Every time you go to the website, you agree to allow them to use cookies to maximize your benefit of the website. But they also use third-party cookies, and that's what this means. Third-party cookies are ad networks that track you across the web. So it follows you back over the web. It makes it very easy for them to put you in lookalike audiences, for them to track and see what you buy, who sold it to you, and what method. What did you respond to? Meta Pixel installed on Shopify stores, they send purchase events, cart abandonment, they even button clicks back to Facebook. It's constantly back to Facebook, back to Meta. And they use to feed, those are used to feed personalized ad loops. So you see the same ads over and over again, and they follow you along. And finally, they come up with a correct combination of things, the right circumstances, all being logged, by the way, when you finally make the purchase on that backpack I was talking about, or the pair of shoes that you'd been looking at. They use psychological profiling and behavior manipulation in order to, number one, you're telling them how to manipulate you, and number two, then they use that information against you. And it sounds very science fiction-y. It sounds very 1984, but just run a test for yourself. the next time you're on social media, do a little bit of shopping and see if those things don't reappear constantly in your feed, or say something that you're looking to purchase a property in a certain town, just anywhere close to your phone. And you're going to see that you don't even have to be actively searching. Voice search is actually becoming far more popular than browser search. So test this out. I think you'll find what I'm saying to you to be hauntingly factual and omniscient. You are definitely going to see these things happening. Here's what's happening. You are being personality typed by artificial intelligence using behavior models. Platforms like Klaviyo, they analyze timing, tone, and the response rates on not just you, but on millions of people that fit into the same categories that you do. It's called the lookalike audience. It's been well documented. You are then segmented as impulsive, price sensitive, explorer. There's at least 150 different types that they characterize in, and you can fit in more than one depending on what products it is people want to sell you. It is how e-commerce marketers are finding new customers. They send urgency emails that are triggered if you view the same product twice. So if you open an email from a certain brand more than once, you're going right into the bin of people that are on the hot list. Split tests send you the version of the site that matches your emotional triggers. Did you know that? Did you know that every time you go to a website and every time I go to a website having different triggers, I'm going to see a different website than you do? It's very manipulative. We'll use a case study here. Cambridge Analytica, e-commerce. The same models used in elections, you're familiar with Cambridge Analytica. They now apply those same models that they used in the election, and they are now being applied in e-commerce. They're not just selling you a product. They're selling to the version of you that is most likely to say yes. They are feathering their nests around you, and they are manipulating you into a place where you will say yes to whatever product it is that you've been looking at. Which leads, by the way, to pricing discrimination. And here's what's happening. Your pricing adjusts based on the device that you're looking at it from, whether it's iPhone, because they pay more. If you're using an iPhone, you are paying more for products. Across the board, period. Your zip code is also a factor. Wealthy neighborhoods, higher pricing. Poorer neighborhoods, lower pricing. Your visit history. The more times you return, the higher the price goes. The more times you look at an object, at a product, the higher price you're going to pay for that. And that's not the end of it. I have a daughter that goes to college in Iowa, and Big Brother, this pricing model knows that. So when I go to look at airfare for pricing a flight to Iowa or from Iowa to where I live, they know that I have someone living in Iowa that I want to see. Price goes right up. If it's spur of the moment, if I'm looking at something that I've never looked at before, prices go way down to entice me in order to take advantage of those great prices. It's something to keep in mind because it becomes way more diabolical. It becomes way darker here later on. Urgency pop-ups. Only 2 left. Fake countdowns are proliferating. IP-based pricing. Expedia. We just talked a little bit about this, but they're one of the worst offenders when it comes to this. They display more expensive hotel rooms to Mac users. So all you Mac users out there, you're paying more for hotel rooms than your PC-based colleagues. This results in a 20 to 30% higher average booking value. They think you have more disposable income, so you're going to pay more. You dispose it right to them. The conclusion of this is 2 people, 1 product, 2 prices. That is the reality now. And as a matter of fact, it's worse than that. 2 people, 1 product, multiple pricing, just based on where you are at the moment. And I'll prove that here in a few couple seconds. We'll talk about that again. Not only that, but your data is being sold between brands. Data is collected from your behavior. It's anonymized, and then it's re-identified. So even when they tell you your responses are anonymous, oh yes, but then they have the ability to make them not anonymous anymore. They match you up. And by the way, you have 2 profiles online. The one profile where you have fully identified yourself, and the other inferred you. And that one is even more accurate than the first. All of this is sold to ad brokers, to CRM platforms, and AI model trainers to make it even more aggressive and, what's a better word? I mean, nefarious. It becomes very vicious. I'm going to talk about that here in a few minutes. These websites, all websites, trade and sell your email, your cart data, and your behavior to the partners in exchange for their analytical tools. So if you shop somewhere using Klaviyo, guess what? They're going to trade amongst the other customers of Klaviyo, and you're going HubSpot, all of these different Meta, Facebook, they trade within one another. And that way they can offer more services to other e-commerce brands or keep those services from e-commerce brands. And now you're dealing with fewer and fewer possibilities of purchasing products. Let me give you a case study on this. Oracle with Blue Kai. Managed massive profiles across thousands and thousands of sites. And it was leaked that 2 billion records, because of a misconfigured server, 2 billion records were leaked to the public. That's way more, 7 times the population of the United States, you guys. So if you feel like, well, Wayne, I'm off the grid, you're worse off than the people who've identified themselves and are actively participating in this. But don't think it's easy for people that are actively participating either, because what they don't know about you makes it more dangerous for you when we're talking about this. Let's talk about data breaches. We mentioned it up at number 5. We'll talk about data breaches and stolen habits. Here's what's happening. It's not your credit card information isn't jack anymore. That's not what they're after. Your behavior profile is really what's at risk here. Shein, the breach. 6 million users were exposed. Their names, their order history, and even company internal flags like chronic returner. How'd you like to be, some of you may think that that's a very nice name to be called, but it doesn't sound like that's so good to me. Chronic returner. This is somebody that returns product all the time. And so they offer you higher prices because you've returned products to them before that were faulty, their own fault. But now you get blamed as a complainer, or you get branded as a complainer, and you now pay higher prices on their websites. You need to watch that. These profiles are bought and sold to run scams, phishing attacks, and very shady competition marketing. Look, it would be one thing if they were trading it with legitimate businesses, but that's not what's going on here. There is a whole dark market for your profile, your behavior. Your information, they get that. That's not a problem. Your information is everywhere. You're not protecting your information anymore. It's your personality, your buying personality, that is really at risk here. You accept, click accept on a cookie, but do you really know what you're agreeing to? Because every time you do that, you agree to two things. Number one, the person that you click the agree to, you agreed to let them have your data, to process your orders, to provide you a better experience. But buried deep in that language on the privacy policy, you are also agreeing to share that with their pool of colleagues and people. And it goes until it is watered down, until they have absolutely no control over it anymore. So every time you click accept on one of those things, guess what? They give it to whoever is asking for it, whoever they can sell it to more accurately. And by the way, again, let me remind you, if you click do not accept, not only did you make things worse for yourself, because they are now you're put in the inferred bunch. So they're operating off of less information when it comes to you. A lot of times these are pre-checked boxes. There are confusing opt-out flows. And let me give you an example of that. If you go into your email right now and opt out or to unsubscribe, we all know this. You go in and unsubscribe from an email group. Well, guess what? All they do before they unsubscribe you, that you've subscribed to 10. You only unsubscribed from the one. So you have 9 more to go that they were never engaged. So you end up continuing to get those email because they have more than 9 lives. They have confusing opt-out flows. They have tiny font disclaimers, things you can't blow up big enough for you to be able to actually read. And I'll give you a case study on that. CCPA complaints. This is California, okay? 40% of e-commerce sites have been found non-compliant in a 2023 audit. They don't care. The laws that we are passing and our very weak sauce legislators are passing don't mean a hill of beans. They do not care. You've elected people to Washington, to the state. You've elected these people to go places that they're not doing their jobs. And here are things that you can do to protect yourself. It's not all doom and gloom, but I will warn you that the things that I'm going to advise you to do, you are protecting yourself to a limited degree. But I hesitate to even say this, but look, we got to do the best we can. Number one, use a VPN. Everybody, all you have to do is say VPN, and everybody knows a VPN. You hear the commercials all the time. Come to find out, they actually do provide a little bit of protection, kind of masks what it is you're doing. You can also get browser extensions like uBlock, Origin, Privacy Badger. They work, but very limited. I will say this, the testing that I've done on these, the benefit is limited, but there is some benefit there. A disposable email like Simple Login or Anon Addy, that does give you a little bit of, but it doesn't give you the permanence of an email address the way that we've become accustomed to it. Opt out of data brokers as best you can. Use Incogni or Delete Me. As best you can. But let me explain to you again, there is a caveat here. You opt out of these data brokers, they're going to start treating you as a mystery. They're going to infer things about you that may not be true. And say no to account creation whenever possible. I do think is actually tilts the scales back in your favor. You can't stop all tracking, but you can tilt it back a little bit in your favor, little bit. And look, this is not about being paranoid. It's about knowing the rules of the game that you are being forced to play. And make no mistake, none of us would agree to play the game this way if we had our druthers. If all's fair, we would not agree that this is the way we were going to play. This is not what we signed up for. We signed up for the convenience. We signed up for the money savings. But when the pricing optimization turned against us, that is not what we signed up for. In the world of e-commerce, ignorance is expensive. Let me talk more about inferred data. You never gave them the information or the permission to have the information, but they know it anyway. You don't need to submit your data anymore. Data miners can guess it with shocking accuracy. You would not believe how accurate these data miners can be. Based on other people surrounding you, family members that did give their information, neighbors of yours that have handed their information over to you, colleagues at work, the people that surround you, they infer those same bits of information toward you. This is inferred data, information about you that companies will derive from analyzing the behavior, the purchases, the language, and the locations of people with similar profiles to you, even when you never gave your information yourself. So all you smart guys listening to this podcast thinking that you've gotten off scot-free, your friends and family and neighbors are telling on you. And this is how they do it. They do lookalike modeling. You've heard me say this a number of times. If enough people in your demographic share data, algorithms are estimating your preferences, income levels, relationship statuses, your political leanings, or even your medical conditions. Machine learning pattern recognition then looks at patterns in massive data sets. We're talking massive pools of data, and it is able to predict with shocking accuracy your habits and your reaction, even without having your personal information. And then they use social graphing because your friends, family, or coworkers will allow data tracking. You become a node in the same map just by association. And quite frankly, it's 99% true. You are your friends and families. Birds of a feather do flock together. Fleas on a dog. You get it. You get it. You never signed up for a pet food newsletter, but your sister did. You share an IP address when visiting for the holidays, and now you start to get ads for grain-free dog food. You don't even have a dog. That's how we know they kind of give themselves up. That's how we know all of these things. Facebook built profiles of non-Facebook users using contact lists, metadata from Messenger, and from partner sites. These profiles included names, emails, social connections, even though those people never, ever created a Facebook account. And in 2018, a Belgian court ruled that Facebook shadow profiling violated European privacy laws. But in the United States, we have no such laws. You did not consent. You didn't even know until I told you. And yet you're targeted. You can't opt out of something you never opted into. The idea of privacy is shifting from what you share to what others share about you. Gestapo tactics without the Gestapo, the KGB without there any KG. You and your friends and family are the ones that are doing this to you. And here's what the only thing that you can do to fight back on this is number one, be aware, and then advocate for inference transparency in the privacy laws. Avoid platforms that build shadow networks. That's a big ask. Most of you are not going to get off the social platforms. You're just not going to. And they know that. They've built it in so your endorphins, you're addicted to TikToks and to Instagrams and to Facebooks. You're not going to get away from those things. You have become the cog in the machine. Educate everyone in your network about minimizing app permissions and syncing their contacts. Privacy is not personal anymore. It's social. If this episode blew your mind like it did mine, share it with someone who needs to stop giving away their data and your data away like free samples at Costco. Hit subscribe. Hit a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Keep the encouragement coming because I'm just getting started. I want all Straight Talk Commerce podcast listeners to have the correct information, be able to protect themselves and their friends and their family. Stop handing all of these data brokers all this information. Stop allowing our legislators to leave us unprotected. We need to come together and realize that social media is doing nothing more than to divide a wedge in our country, and that's ridiculous. So look, until next week, please stay together and stay informed, and I will see you next week.
No fluff, no hype, just the real deal. Wayne Altman's here, yeah, you know the drill. Talking business, talking shop, making moves non-stop. From e-com to hustle, straight talk, no props. Straight talk, no gimmicks, no lies. Hey, I'll break it down with the sharpest minds. Money, moves, mindset, grind. If you're ready to win, then tune in live. Big names, big games, all the lessons they bring. From Jelly Belly to AA Kings. From the startup grind to the top tier pros. We crack the code, now here we go. Straight talk, commerce, getting to know with Wayne Altman. Let's start the show.